Thank you very much, Deborah. Good morning, everybody. It's really an honor for me to be here, really speaking before such a fantastic group of adult educators, teachers, administrators, and policymakers. The work you do every day is invaluable, not only to the state of California and, of course, to the Department of Education, but most importantly, the work you do is so important to the students you serve each and every day. California has a strong, a long, and very impressive history of delivering adult education services, over 100 years. That's very impressive. And that history has helped California lead our country in providing high-quality educational services to low-skilled adults. First off, let me thank CalPro and Marianne Fideli for organizing this outstanding summit. I've known Marianne for quite a few years and have always respected her leadership and her work. And so thank you very much for organizing this very important summit for folks in California. I also want to recognize Deborah Jones and her exemplary leadership. I've only met her today, but I knew her by reputation. You are all very lucky to have her leading your efforts in California. And so I ask you to join me in thanking Marianne and Deborah for their outstanding work. You're welcome. As Larry mentioned, we have a very unique opportunity in this new administration to truly reform adult education and to ensure that adult learners from all backgrounds and skill levels have the opportunity to not only attend and complete college, but to pursue a better quality of living through expanded educational opportunities. I'm very excited about the work before us and proud to have in both Secretary Arne Duncan and President Obama two tireless advocates for lifelong learning. President Obama has set the bar high for education achievement nationwide. Not only has he set a new goal for college completion, but he has challenged the United States to again lead the world in the number of college graduates by the year 2020. As leaders in adult education, you and I both know that really in order to achieve that very ambitious goal, we must ensure that more adults are entering and completing college. The State Higher Education Executive Offices, or the SHEOs as they are called, recently published data showing that only 30%, whoops, I'm supposed to be doing this. Forgive me. Whoops. The SHEO's report recently published data showing that only 30% of the gap in degree attainment will be closed by traditional age students. This means that in order for us to reach the President's goal by 2020, 70% of new students attaining degrees will be our students, our adult students. That's why your work this week and beyond is so very important, not only for your students, but really for the nation. As you know, there are currently 93 million adults in America that are at the basic level of literacy or below. In order to accomplish the President's goal, we must improve transitions from basic education to college for those 93 million adults. And the way that Deborah described it is absolutely correct. It can't be a linear fashion anymore. That's why, again, it's so important for you to be here. I will tell you, I have been the Assistant Secretary of the Office of Vocational and Adult Education for 2 weeks. So please excuse me if I am reading my remarks. But I wanted to tell you a story. On my first day at work, I was able to meet with Secretary Arne Duncan. And I had received a briefing paper from the transition team. And they said, really, nobody cares about the work of AVE in the department. That was the opening statement. So I opened my interview with Secretary Duncan and said to him, Secretary Duncan, this is what I read from the transition team, and I'm here to tell you why that's not true, why we are absolutely central to our work in the department and to the President's agenda. And I believe that very strongly, that the work that all of you do, the work that all of us do together, is very important. And this is our time. This is our time to really make sure that we skill up our students, that we create the infrastructure to really support our students' quest for job opportunities that will allow them to support their families. I've spent the majority of my professional career as an educator, adult educator, and administrator of adult education programs. Prior to coming to the United States Department of Education, I directed 2 TRIO programs, the Educational Opportunities Center and an Educational Talent Search program. I left those programs, those were at the Community College of Rhode Island. I left the Community College of Rhode Island to work for the Clinton administration as the Department of Education's regional representative for New England. But for the past decade, I had served as the president of Dorcas Place, Adult and Family Learning Center located in Providence. The mission of Dorcas Place is to assist low-income adults in realizing their full potential through literacy, employment, advocacy, and community involvement. We are committed to expanding, I still talk about we as if I was there, it's hard to make the break, committed to expanding educational and career opportunities for low-income and low-skilled adults, those who have the lowest literacy and language levels. Because we know what you know, improving education for adults improves the quality of life not only for them, but for their families and children. When I arrived at Dorcas Place more than a decade ago, we were serving 100 women only in our adult basic education program. When I left, we are serving over 1,000 low-income adults in 5 major programs. We had a functional literacy program, which is our ABE, ESOL, GED program, our civics education, financial literacy program, and we have a college preparatory program. In fact, that was the first program I established 9 years ago when I went to Dorcas Place, because I wanted our students to aspire to more than the GED. As Larry was mentioning, and Deborah, you will hear common themes this morning. That really is just the beginning. And when we created that program 9 years ago, we built an aspirational model that now has changed, and I'll talk a little bit about that. We also have a workforce education program because all of our students want to work and have to work. But if you can't read or write or speak English, it's impossible to find a job. So we have a workforce education program that was tied to sectors to prepare our students for work. We also have a family literacy program and was one of 10 programs, agencies selected to receive a federal grant for a full-service community schools grant. We also are one of 7 Welcome Back centers across the country, and many of you may be familiar with the Welcome Back centers. They started right here in California, in San Francisco, and it's a program to help immigrant professionals go back to work in their careers. Having recognized a need to provide intensive academic and personal support to help low-income adults, as I mentioned, we had a college preparatory program that originally was an aspirational model, and for the last year and a half, we opened our own developmental education institute in reading and math, because we knew aspirations were not enough to make sure that our students succeed. They needed the academic program as well, and that program has been very successful. I was really pleased to work with a very dedicated staff at Dorcas Place who worked hard to create innovative programs to meet the challenging needs of the diverse communities we serve. In many ways, the lessons learned at Dorcas Place are repeated all across the country in community colleges and community-based organizations in adult schools, those of you serving adult learners. Really, your work. We know the nation needs to increase its focus on assisting adults who have no first degree or credential to enter and succeed in post-secondary education. We know the reasons, and they've been mentioned here, but I'll repeat them again. For each educational achievement and attainment that an adult increases, you reduce family poverty rates. They have an ability to secure a higher paying job. There's stronger labor force attachment. And most importantly, there's greater personal and civic responsibility and involvement in our community. And Deborah also mentioned the research. It is clear. We do know it. But you also need to be able to cite it and encourage you and use that in pushing your work and helping your students to move forward. But what do we know about what it takes to help these adults? I know I should have been pushing some of these slides, but I kind of lost as to where I am. Hopefully I'll get there. In 2003, AVE, now I'm going to talk to you about the work that we are doing in AVE. the Office of Vocational Adult Education. In 2003, AVE commissioned a study to identify programs, practices, and strategies that appear to facilitate successful transitions from ABE programs to credit-bearing community college programs. Case studies in 4 states and 16 local ABE programs suggest a few prominent practices that appear to make a difference. And they won't surprise you. Larry mentioned them, Deborah mentioned them, and I'm going to also talk about them. And many of them are being highlighted during the summit. Information about program structure and organization suggests, now here is a little sign that says I should be turning it to, well, these are some of my wonderful students who graduated from college at Dorcas Place. Okay, I'm on board, I'm on track, so that's good. Information about program structure and organization suggests that in addition to other administrative relationships, the ABE program's close proximity and relationship with the local community college campus that gives students a chance to acclimate to college before enrolling is very important. At Dorcas Place in our college preparatory program, we had a very strong partnership and relationship with the Community College of Rhode Island. It was vital. And there's some research that was done quite a few years ago by Brookfield that suggests that adult students who go to college feel as if they don't belong, that they're waiting for somebody to come and tap them on the shoulder and ask them, what are you doing here? So it's really important for us to make sure that students know they do belong on college campus. And part of our college preparatory program at Dorcas Place was every summer we took our students on college tours so that they could see that there were students that looked like them, that spoke like them, and that they could in fact feel comfortable that they belong on campus. And that's very important, and why it's important to have a close proximity to college campuses so students have a chance to acclimate. Additionally, the enrollment links between the college and the ABE programs help connect basic skills instruction to career interest and post-secondary content. These links include integrated instruction, co-enrollment, and blended courses. Furthermore, the quality and nature of instruction appear to be a key factor in successful transition, including helping students prepare for college assessments, aligning the curriculum with the developmental and post-secondary courses, and encouraging students at intake to set educational and career goals and develop action plans to meet those goals. The availability of support services appears to enable ABE students to address personal barriers such as lack of childcare or transportation. I can tell you from my experience at Dorcas Place that having support services was absolutely one of the most important essential ingredients for our student success. In our college preparatory program, we had case managers who were with our students when they went onto the college campus, so that if they missed a class, we were there the next day to say, oh, I'm sorry you missed class. Have you made arrangement to take notes? What's the matter? Do you need some kind of support services? And of course, they would tell us, my car broke down, I don't have transportation, and we would help to facilitate them carpooling with other students. Whatever instance came up, the case manager's job was to make sure our students had a goal. They wanted to go to college, they wanted to succeed in college, and the case manager's job is to make sure that they reach that goal and that any obstacles or barriers that may be in their way were overcome. Support services are also provided by referring students to the network of support services available through the local colleges, or maybe it was referring them to human service or workforce agencies. And, no surprise to many of you in the room, many of them relied on the faculty, our ABE faculty, to provide them with personal encouragement and support. Staff interviewed for the study also believe that their program's personal and organizational collaboration, again with the post-secondary institution, provided students with important information about college, the application process, and educational and career goals. We always made sure we reached out to the college advising offices at the Community College of Rhode Island. In addition to that, we reached out to the TRIO programs, and I urge you, if you don't already have a relationship, to reach out to them, the Educational Opportunity Center and the Student Support Services. They provide very intensive information on financial aid. They'll sit down with our students one-on-one doing financial aid application assistance. You don't have to necessarily build that expertise in your program because they are the experts. They know all the changes in financial aid regulations, and so you can use those programs as well. Inviting post-secondary faculty and counselors to make presentations to the AVE class, and providing students with college application materials where strategies identifying is helping adults successfully transition. Again, I'll speak to you a little bit about our experience at Dorcas Place when we would take our students who were aspiring to college, who were enrolled in our college preparatory program right on campus, and invite all the key offices, the Director of Financial Aid, the Director of Admissions, the Bursar office, and so that they could see one-on-one those individuals and meet those individuals. And I would always go to the lunch, and we had a lunch and invite those folks, and I would make the introductions and tell folks how important these offices were. And then they, one by one, would come up and say to the students, I'm the Director of Financial Aid at the Community College of Rhode Island. Please make sure if you have any problems with your financial aid, you come and see me. I'd say, this is the Director of Financial Aid. You will more than likely have problems with financial aid. She has just offered you her private extension phone number. Take it down. Make sure you call her up if you have any problems. But people are very willing. They want our students to succeed, just as you want your students to succeed. Moreover, we know the challenges that are unique to adult students. Time is often a barrier, and that's really, I commend CalPro for offering even their own professional development online, and we need to be providing more opportunities for our students as well so they can advance academically. Our faculty also need to learn new information and implement new practices and to coordinate across community services. Finances will always be an issue for our students, and we need to make sure that we at the federal level and certainly at the local level, promote additional resources. In Rhode Island, I worked very hard, very closely with our Guaranteed Student Agency to establish the Rhode Island Adult Education Grant Program for students who had additional expenses that were not covered by the federal financial aid for housing, transportation, and childcare. And it allowed students who enrolled less than part-time to really have the necessary funds for them to complete. And as I talk further on about some of the legislation that's ongoing, we're hoping to make sure that there are additional opportunities for adult students. Also, state-level policy work is going to be very important, and it's very important that Deborah is here and that other key policymakers are here from the community college so that they can really hear what are some of the obstacles in state policy that relate to access and completion for adults in higher education, because there are barriers. Extensive advising and counseling, of course, are needed to increase the availability of educational career counseling services to help learners determine their skills, interest, and identify career areas. I'm really thrilled that my friends from the National College Transition Network are here and that they're going to be talking about their career awareness program. It's an absolutely wonderful program, and I urge you to find more about it. Dorcas Place, luckily, was selected to be one of the programs participating in this effort. It's an extremely important initiative for our students who lack the ability to have never really had the experiences in developing career goals and career awareness. So I want to thank my friends from NCTN for their good work. Finally, adult learners face the omnipresence of misperceptions. We need to address the different perceptions AVE programs and community colleges have about their missions and perceptions about the type of learners that may be candidates for post-secondary education. Equally important is the need to address the perceptions of adult learners about their ability to succeed in post-secondary education. We need to do everything we possibly can to say to them, you do belong, you can succeed, and you will succeed. I happen to be, as Marianne mentioned, when I was in Rhode Island, a member of the Board of Governors for Higher Education. And so I had the privilege of handing out college diplomas at all of our campuses. And so as an introduction, when I would go and meet with our new students who enrolled in our college preparatory program, I would say to them, and when you graduate, I will be there to hand out your diploma with the president of the community college. And I had the privilege of being able to do that on many occasions, and it was truly an honor. The federal government, and AVE specifically, is working very hard to take the positive lessons we've learned and use them to overcome the persistent barriers to successful adult college transition and completion. We are doing this through a number of different avenues. The existing programs we have in place to specifically address the issue of college transition are our Ready to College and AVE Career Connections. Let's see where that slide is. Whoops. Okay, there you go. Ready for College is a $2.7 million discretionary grant program targeted to out-of-school youth under the age of 24 years, an age group that represents the largest demand for GED services. The Ready for College program addresses the need to increase the number of Americans engaging in post-secondary education by focusing on strategies that specifically target this demographic. Ready for College has given 2-year grants from 2007 to 2009 to 4 states: Kansas, North Carolina, New Jersey, and Colorado. These grantees have provided OVE with the opportunity to work with 21 community colleges in those states. While the systemic models vary across grantees, each grantee is collecting valid and reliable data to document students' increased skills in reading, writing, or math, high school equivalency completion, college readiness, and transition to post-secondary education. Some of the programs are taking basic GED preparation coursework and adding curriculum that aligns with post-secondary entrance requirements. Some are creating what is referred to as bridge programs that, for example, provide help in developing good study skills and critical thinking, or offer modules on career exploration. Some models are making use of navigators who work with ASC students on college transition issues. Combined, the 4 grantees have projected that over 1,200 out-of-school youth will directly benefit from the activities proposed throughout the project period. We are currently working with our grantees to document the lessons learned and disseminate them so other programs in other states can learn from these experiences. The AVE Career Connections is an OVE program investment geared towards occupational post-secondary education. The program seeks to connect adult education coursework with existing post-secondary career pathways to enable adults leaving adult education services a smooth connection to occupational coursework in specific industry sectors. Skilling up, Deborah. The career pathways are growing in popularity, particularly community colleges, and to date have focused on connecting high schools to high school courses so that graduating seniors can easily transition to post-secondary occupational trainings in industries such as healthcare, construction, trades, IT, and advanced manufacturing. 6 localities, including Bluegrass Community College in Kentucky, Montgomery College in Maryland, Madison Technical College in Wisconsin, and Jewish Community Services in San Francisco, are working to connect their ABE or ASL programs to existing pathways in community colleges. The combined work of Ready for College and ABE Career Connections is intended to help us learn more about how to structure new programs to help adults succeed in entering further education and training. But this is just the beginning. One of our greatest opportunities to restructure the federal approach to adult education, expand career pathways work, and age college transition is the reauthorization of the workforce investment. The workforce investment was last reauthorized in 1998, when the economy and the workforce were dramatically different than what we face today. According to the 1999 Congressional Budget Office report after the act was reauthorized, it stated, and I quote, "In fiscal year 1998, the total budget turned to a surplus of $70 billion from a deficit of $22 billion in 1997, marking the first overall surplus since 1969, end quote. In 1998, the unemployment rate was 4.6%. And I think that's only available now in a couple of states in our nation. And from 1998 to 2000, jobs were growing at a gross rate of 5.4 million annually. Now, stark contrast, 11 years later, We are facing the gravest economic conditions since the Great Depression. The unemployment rate has nearly doubled to 9.3%. Deborah tells me here it's over 11%. In Rhode Island, where I came from, it was 12.3%. And from 2007 to 2009, we have lost jobs at a gross rate of 7 million annually. With the world in the midst of both a global economic recession and a constantly evolving technological age, we must rethink the Workforce Investment Act and restructure it to fit the needs of the adult learner. And I will definitely put a plug here for this evening from 6:30 to 8 for you to come and speak to me. I'm going to just listen. I have a couple of questions I'm going to pose, but I really need to hear from you. What do we need to do differently when we reauthorize the Workforce Investment Act? AVE has thought extensively how best to leverage the knowledge we've gained from you in the field about what is working. Currently, WIA does not require states to develop and implement content standards, although many states have voluntarily moved towards standards-based education. We hope that moving forward, as we reauthorize WIA, we can support the administration's goal of improving college completion by ensuring that all states develop and implement content standards aligned with accepted standards for college and career readiness. Better alignment between Title I and Title II will be crucial in ensuring our adult students' overall academic and career success. We are brainstorming ways WIA can be expanded to include a lifelong learning program that provides alternative methods of high school completion to include credit for performance, online learning, completion of college courses and other pathways, to re-engage out-of-school youth and adults in educational activities that again lead to high school completion and college readiness. We also hope to expand WIA to include resources devoted to the development of new technologies, the implementation and evaluation of existing technologies, and the training of our faculty in the use of state-of-the-art technologies proven effective with at-risk youth and, again, adults. These are just a few of the proposed reforms we hope will make the reauthorization of WIA a vehicle for a more seamless transition to college, specifically for adult learners. In addition, my apologies. In addition to WIA, we are excited about the role that the American Graduation Initiative could play in college transition for adult learners. The President's Initiative, which has been passed in one form by the House and will soon be introduced in the Senate, could direct more than $10 billion to community colleges to help them significantly increase the numbers of graduates from these institutions. Again, the President has called for the United States to have the highest educated, most competitive workforce in the world, and for an additional 5 million community college graduates by the year 2020. Adult learners will be critical to meeting the President's goal and assuring our individual and collective economic prosperity, our work, and the importance of the summit here today. The American Graduation Initiative will be innovation-driven, competitive-based programs. People will be asked to put together competitive-based programs to help students cross the finish line. It's not enough anymore just to make sure our students enroll in college, but that they in fact complete. So the American Graduation Initiative focuses on degree attainment and college success. There are any number of ways in which institutions can work with their partners to help achieve our goals, including contextualized workforce-oriented basic literacy, instruction, support services for students facing multiple barriers, and accelerated developmental courses. The legislation also provides funding for an online skills laboratory, which we think will be a powerful tool to extend learning opportunities to working adults juggling multiple responsibilities. Currently, the online skills laboratory is really focused on post-secondary education students, but I've been advocating since adult education is an important part of my work, to make sure that this online skills laboratory also is available for students at the pre-collegiate level. Study after study shows that financial barriers are one of the biggest contributors to dropout rates within the adult learning community. Subsequently, we've included an increase to Pell Grants in the higher education bill, which also includes the American Graduation Institute. We hope that we will help alleviate some of the financial burdens of higher education and encourage low-income, talented students to apply to schools that may even cost more, but will challenge them. With the passage of the American Graduation Institute and the reauthorization of WIA, we expect to begin substantive adult education reforms really as soon as next year, and hopefully no later than 2011, so we can get a jump start on achieving the President's goal by 2020. Our goal every day is to improve the quality of education for every adult learner in this country. We know we can only do this through informed policymaking. The opportunity afforded us in this moment is an unprecedented chance to make real change and expand opportunities for everyone. OVE and the Department of Education can't afford to think that we have a monopoly on the ideas. We want to hear from the field, you who are working with your students every day, you who are creating innovative programs and solutions, so that you can break down the situational, dispositional, and institutional barriers that confront our students. We are here for you. We are your federal government. You've heard that before, right? No, seriously, we respect your voice and want you to have a seat at the table. Share your ideas and experiences with us. Join in our WIA community conversations. We are, in fact, setting up an email address so that if folks can't come to one of our community conversations, if you can't come this evening, you'll be able to email your comments. Together, we can develop better college pathway programs and enhance transitions for California's adult students and for students all across the country. In closing, I really want to say thank you. Thank you for your dedicated service to your students. Thank you for taking advantage of this high-quality professional development opportunity offered by CalPro. And thank you really for inviting me to participate in this summit. Whenever you think I should know an important piece of information about your work, please make sure you contact me and contact my colleagues in OVE. We do want to be true partners with all of you to expand educational opportunities for our adult students. Thank you.